So I am going to show you some more stuff in Suitcase. In Suitcase, I sat down with Eric Mead, who is the Mac guy in the IT services. They're still working on stuff. He said that we should eventually have a home folder for you guys. So meaning that if we are here at Finder level, right? Finder, the little smiley Mac icon from yesteryear, we typically would, when we logged in, you would have your own little home. Who's a Mac user in here at all, right? You know how you have a unique user when you log in and that kind of stuff, and you see an icon sometimes, yeah. So we would usually have that. Right now, it's not there. So I had temporarily put in some stuff in my documents folder, but what Eric told me was it'll only work if you sign in on the same machine. So basically, it's just not going to really work. So what I recommend to be your home folder, do the thumb drive thing for right now. And I have a gift for you. So if I put my drive in, and I have my Mike's and Kula shuttle disk here. Let's go to assignment 1, Logotype study 1. There is like I said earlier, that line from that one Allison Chain song, a new friend turned me on to an old favorite. I don't have heroin for you guys, I'm sorry. But I do have a Fonts from Mike download, which is actually Fonts from Mike as given to me by a former student. These are not the old PostScript fonts that I was talking about. They are all TrueType, OpenType. So what I would do if I were you is this following step. Download. It will then download to your downloads folder here. And you will now I'll have 2 folders called Fonts from Mike Zip. 113 megs as a zip archive. Let's move that to your shuttle drive. Guess we could have extracted it before we did that. Now, how many of you know how to extract things on a PC on a Windows where you have to actually go and hit extract and, ours is better. You just double click. And hopefully they don't have it set up like they used to where you can only extract from the scratch disk. Oh, it's taking a long time. Let's go to downloads and just extract from here and see which one. Yeah, see, we should have just extracted from there. Why don't we do this? I'm going to go back to my shuttle drive, cancel that. I'm going to delete that. Extract it from your downloads folder. And you will now have a folder called Western Fonts. Okay? What do I mean by Western Fonts? There are no cowboys in Western Fonts, right? It's not like rope and giddy up and that kind of stuff, okay? Western Fonts means Western, like whatever, what do we call our alphabet? What's the proper, our Western alphabet? That's what it means, right? So let's take this then and move it to your shuttle drive or your thumb drive. And I can dance and entertain you guys for a few minutes. While that is doing that, here's what the next step that you will do. Well, first, now you have 11 billion fonts that you can take with you wherever you want to go. Okay. Now, if you are on the Macs downstairs, or how many of you have your own laptop, right? So if you then, I'll just go to back to downloads here and open up Western Fonts, and you will see kind of a lot of fonts, right? So let's go and open up Universe, which is one of my favorites. So I think most of these fonts are OpenType, right? So the OTF means OpenType. So if I want to then, let's say I have this one that I want to install. If I double click it, this will bring me up with the Mac application install font, right? The font book application, and I can say install font, and it'll be installed into font book under whatever user. Now, do yourself a favor, and if you are just going to drag and drop into font book, good, that is off. Make sure automatic font activation is turned off. Otherwise, you're going to get the pinwheel of death, and you're going to think to yourself, oh, I'll go to the bathroom and it'll be done spinning. And 3 days from now, it'll still be spinning, right? Because there's a lot of fonts. You don't want to all of a sudden activate all of them, okay? But here in what we're doing in here in Suitcase then, same thing. What you can do is I took this Western Fonts folder, and now you can start to see up in the font library, up in the top left, I have the Gringo All-Stars, which was that demo that I did on Monday. I have a folder called Mike's Fonts that I just made a few minutes ago. And then I have a folder called Western Fonts. So how did I get the folder of Western Fonts? Well, that download of mine, drag it over the font library, and now it's going to give me two. I don't need the second one. Well, let me delete the first one and let that one roll. Nah. Let's delete that one. No, it's not going to let me. Well, I'm going to have two Western Fonts folders. Woohoo. 2,193 fonts in there. So, but if we go to then the system fonts right here, like I said, ooh, look at that. There is a user thing like that. Interesting. There now should be, you should see that where it says local and they're not activated. You see system, there's a green dot. Maybe that user one, I'll bet you that's Universe that I activated. Yep, that I did in font book. Okay. But this right here, this local, should be contain, I don't know why these are turned on over there like that for a lot of them, but if I wanted to go find Universe here, right, I earlier activated it temporarily, so I can then deactivate it, okay? And then if I want to activate it for this session, I can temporarily activate it and then go into Illustrator with the download from earlier. So again, you should, if you are at my site, Logotype Study 1 is the template that then you can use. So if this were me, I might, on my shuttle drive, well, you can set up your folders however you want. I was going to say I'd put a typography folder on there, whatever, WEB112 folder. But if I just have, this is the only crap I'm going to have on here. So now if I open this up, legacy artboard, crop area, okay. And it's going to say, hey, missing fonts. Ah, screw it. I don't care. Because here, this template then, what you can do is, right, use it to type out your personal name and your business name. Again, you have to do 10 of each, 10 personal, 10 business, okay, to turn into me. So what I just did there, let's talk a little bit of Illustrator. How many of you are in Martin's WEB114 class right now? And he's talking about Illustrator finally, right? That makes me happy. We've been, what happened here at the college was we used to have a special topics Illustrator class that would run so often, but it wasn't labeled, it wasn't part of the regular curriculum. Sometimes it would cancel because people wouldn't know about it. There was this class called WES114, which was out of the desktop publishing stuff up here. Does anybody know who Chris Sullivan is? He's the dean, who's totally awesome because this is being recorded. I think the dean is really awesome right now. No, I'm kidding. Chris is awesome. Chris is great. He used to teach in the desktop. Mark is here. Hey, Mark Pfaff. He is our work study TA. So Mark is actually getting paid. I'll bother him the most. So, what was I saying, Chris? Chris used to teach WES114, which was Photoshop and Illustrator. So you could either take WES114 or WEB114, right? So we had that option. Then, yeah, you see where this is going. Then Chris became dean, and all of a sudden WES114, Martin taught a couple of times, and then disappeared. And when I went to Chris and said, he was like, oh, dude, sorry, bye. And so I got the approval to just have Martin put in the Illustrator stuff so you guys could have Illustrator training as a separate class. That being said, though, let's go over some Illustrator basics here. This is Illustrator. It is the program you're going to want to use. I have each one of these names, each one of these boxes set up to have editable text, okay? Let's go take a quick look at the guides. Under View, Guides. The guides are not locked right now. Those blue lines, they should be locked. They were locked in CS3 when I made this. There is also, I don't know what that little line is. Now the guides are locked. So the three tools that we want to use are the black arrow pointer up here is the general selection tool. What that means is that selects objects and or groups of objects. Okay, so for instance, if I do pretzel N, and by pretzel I mean command, if you look at the command key, it looks like a four-sided pretzel. So if I say pretzel N, new document, just make a new document, and I do this. Have you tried the new Sharp? I don't care. Leave me alone. Let me just do stuff. And I draw this box, and then I draw this circle, and then I draw, how about a star, right? And now I have three separate objects. Wow, what's going on over there? Is that your?
I think my fan is.
Oh, that's your. I have another one in my office.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to, it's in the desk in the drawer.
All right. We'll see if it
Okay.
catches something.
Is it by Samsung? So we have three separate objects here right now, okay? If I select all of these and then I go up under Object and say Group, now they are a group that I can move around as a group. If I double click on this group, I can then go back and select each object, and you see it's kind of giving me the layers here of that. If I am using the white tool, that is the direct selection tool, which then I can select that individual object, and more importantly, I can go and select that anchor point. And then I can select those handlebars. Okay? If we go back here, and if we use the black selection tool, which is the tool that you're going to most usually use when you're kind of running around the joint and moving stuff and whatever. If I then select this piece of type, you will notice that with this underline right there, that signifies an editable piece of type. If I double click on that, I will get a cursor. Okay? Or if I select the type tool and I hover over it and then I click, I'll get the cursor and I can type something in the middle. Okay? Now, if I have this selected like this, we have a character palette. You can find the character palette under the window menu, type character, or shorthand pretzel T. So if you ever want to find your type palette, how many of you ever been looking for a palette and you have so many palettes open and you don't know where it is and you do this? So it blinks. You do it?
No.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
You do.
Okay.
You've done it before.
Never.
You know you have. Okay?
Didn't even know you could do that.
Like if you have a bunch of stuff and you're like, where's that one? You know, and you turn it on and off and it's like, you know, it's kind of like trying to find Pokemon or Pikachu in a sea of Charlie Browns. Any idea what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Who does? One person. Good. If my joke lands with at least one person, I call that a success. Okay? So here then, if we select this, we have the character palette. We can hide options, show options. So for right now, the only things you're really going to need are, if I have this selected, what font am I going to choose? Okay? What weight might I choose? So if I choose something, I don't know, what would have Arial? Would have regular, italic, bold, bold, italic. Okay? Here then is set the font size. 12. Too small. 48. Too big. 40 seems good. Okay. Here then is the leading. We'll talk about that later. So you should not need anything else except for those. All right? So if I open this and Bauhaus is not loading, what I would want to do is I can go to Suitcase Fusion and let's see if they have Bauhaus. Bauhaus. Bauhaus is activated. However, it might be a different version of Bauhaus than what I used. Go back to Illustrator. Bauhaus medium. If you see this diamond, that means font not available. Bauhaus standard. Or STD, Bauhaus STD, I don't know if I want to get into that conversation. Bauhaus standard has light, medium, demi, bold, and heavy. Okay, so I just changed it there, right? Now, here's what you guys need to do. You need to explore typefaces to see, what does Palatino say to me? Give me some words to describe it. What? Anybody? Nobody? I'll go first. Old-timey. Newspaper. What does Bauhaus? What does that look like to you? You guys aren't good at this game, are you?
Maybe zoom in on it a bit.
What?
Maybe zoom in on it a bit or something.
How does it feel to you? Would it feel correct in your logo? Does that make sense? So, speaking of which, Mark Pfaff. Projects. Look what Tatiana did for me. Tatiana went searching for all the old logos and cropped them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I modified my flex slider function to do a little thumbnail gallery like this. That does it, that puts them out randomly.
Oh, look. Huh. I wonder who did that.
Yeah, look at the name.
That's how you actually spell the name.
Yeah,
Not really.
that's Mark's. So if Mark was doing Flint design, would the typeface Bauhaus communicate what he wanted it to communicate for Flint design? No. Correct. How would you know that? Because you tried it.
I tried it.
Because you tried it and you made a decision, it doesn't look right. So here's kind of where we're going in this class. If we go to my resources page, there is this logo design project step-by-step walkthrough. Here's what we're doing. Let's say you have a business that you were going to do called My Nightlife. Well, it never hurts to start sketching now, right? So Alex, this is what you were showing me earlier, right? It's Alex, right?
Yes.
Okay. Start sketching now. How many of you have the Logo Savvy book? There's a lot of sketching that goes on in there, right? So you're not going to put your ideas into play just yet, but you guys need to start. This is your unofficial part of this process, okay? But what you are going to do is you need to start exploring type to see what typeface says My Nightlife, or Flint Design, or Premium Design Works, or All Punch, or Flint again, or Luna Spa, Mr. Design, Ace Camping, Chica, Salmons. I think this might be a version of Bauhaus. Okay? So, communication, communication, communication. So, here's what you can do in Suitcase. Let's say you went to your font library of Western fonts. Let's delete that one. I can't, you're kidding me, I can't just right click to delete that? Well, here in Suitcase, click here to edit the preview text. So I can start kind of going through these and writing down which ones I think work best for us again, right? Now, we used to have, and I talked to Eric about there was an extension for Suitcase that you would have a palette, a Suitcase palette in Illustrator. He's working on getting that up and running, okay? But one way, shape, or form, what you need to do is do your personal name, your business name, 10 typefaces apiece, or 200, however far you get into it, 10 minimum. Okay? Does that make sense?
Is that 20 different fonts then?
Huh?
Is that 20 different fonts?
Could be 10 for personal, 10 for business that are identical. That's fine. The more you do, the better off you will be in the long run. Because what you need to do then is going from here, right? So this is a good example of type study 2, where the next one we're going to start mixing and matching. Right now, don't mix and match, right? Just take my template, type your name, right? In Mark's defense, he really doesn't like me. So, and then choose, you know, that typeface.
Yeah.
And start studying. See what looks good. Looks, you know, so I would, if I were you, I'd scroll through Suitcase, and at least you have that whole Western fonts folder to take with you. How many of you downloaded it and put it on your thumb drive? Really? Yeah, yeah, starting now. So, any questions?
If you activate the font in Suitcase, it immediately becomes usable.
In Illustrator, yes. So in other words, if I wanted to Frutiger and I activated it,
Now, why would you use temporary instead of permanent?
that's a good question. I would typically use permanent. Frutiger. Yeah, it should become. All right, any other questions? All right, so this video how should we sign off today, Mark?
You should like start with, assigning an assignment, but turn it off before you finish your sentence.
How many people are not here? How many of you watching at home failed to show up today? Because if you did, I'm going to talk about an assignment that you're not going to have any clue to what we're going to talk about, and it'll be due tomorrow.